All right. You said these are disagreements. I do think that the show doesn't always give a good representation of single women dating. A seeming annoyance with women. I take issue with some of the regressive stances the men take about women's agency in society. What are some of those?
Not necessarily you, Brian. I was hoping Andrew would be here. My main beef was the idea that women shouldn't be allowed to vote. I mean, that's
not my position.
No, I know that's
not my position.
Yeah, so that was
Andrew's
what.
not here.
Yeah, that was
so.
what I. That's what I took issue with.
Why should they be able to vote?
You're not serious, right? We're not going to have this.
Oh, if you want to have the discussion, let's do it.
Really?
I think we should.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Should women be drafted?
No, I said I don't want to be drafted.
Let the veteran answer that question.
But
we're going to keep on. If you're going to do this, we're going to have to keep on the subject. So voting, meaning what do you mean that women? First of all, let me ask you, what's your position?
No, I'm asking you your position. You're the one who wanted to talk about it. I'm happy to steel man it. So why should they vote?
Well, I think that, first of all, it's a bizarre notion that the United States government or any other Western country would ever take a woman's right to vote away from her. It's a nonsense conversation that seems to be clicks for cash kind of conversation, because it's never going to happen.
You're still not giving any reasons.
It's never going to happen. Under
it's happened
our
a lot of
Constitution,
times in the past. In most countries in the world, women don't vote.
Our Constitution does not allow for that. Our Constitution says that men are created equal. Men and women are created equal.
Right. So should we draft women?
Listen, if you want to draft women, you can. You can talk to President Trump or President Harris, whoever is in charge, if you want to do that. But what we're talking about is, can women vote?
Yeah. So once again, what's the reason why women should vote?
Because they're a human being.
So
they contribute to society.
Okay, let's take it one by one.
They have
One by one. Human being.
Mm-hmm.
Should
okay.
infants vote?
Yes. So first off,
Hold it into the mic.
women are half of this population. They have a right and they have a say, and they deserve to be represented.
Why?
Because they are half of this population. They are human beings, and our Constitution says that we are equal. And not only that, but society, Western society, this is a regressive idea that women should not be able to vote. And what it would take...
Regressing to what exactly? You're saying 10 things. We need to take it one by one because
Okay.
you're spurging. Mm-hmm. So regressing to what?
Regressing to 100 years ago, over 100 years ago.
Is that a bad thing?
Yes, it is.
Would you say morally we're better off now than we were 100 years ago?
But we're not talking about that. We are not talking about the effects of women being able to vote and extrapolating that to where we are morally as a society. Because Hitler also happened when women were able to vote.
So if you look at how women vote...
I mean, what do you want to... I mean, what?
No, I just want you to lay out a logical argument as to why women should vote.
we drawn
Because you've said they're humans. You said they're humans.
When
Hold on
women
a second.
were able
You
to
said they're
vote.
humans. Infants are humans. Should infants be able to vote?
No.
Okay, cool.
People who...
What's the next one? You need to take it point by point. You're doing a lot of talking, but not making too much sense.
Okay.
Women are humans. Okay, not a good reason. What's the next one?
No, but that is a human right. That's what I meant to say.
Okay,
It is a human right to be able to vote. So we can just scratch that I said women are humans, and we'll just say
right to vote
it is a
according to
human
who?
right to vote.
According to
I
who?
think women should be able to vote, and for the sake of this being clipped, I don't think you're doing a great job at all of explaining why women should be able to vote, because now people are going to see them and be like, that's why women shouldn't vote. They can't make up their mind.
Okay,
I mean, that's not a good job at all. Women should be able to
for your
vote,
contribution. But let me be clear.
She's making more sense than you.
Right.
There's
Well,
so many
probably.
reasons I can name. You please do a better job. You're representing women that when this is clipped and people are saying this is why women shouldn't be able to vote. Like, there's so many reasons.
Okay, well, you tell me.
We're a part of this society, and we do make up a big population, but we're also part of this society. We work, we contribute, we pay taxes. We're forced to pay taxes. We go through the education system. We make decisions about our children, and we want the best for our kids. That's why we vote. So we.
Should we take it one by one?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, first one. You work and pay taxes.
Correct.
14-year-olds work and pay taxes. Should they vote?
I think the age is 16 to work, but
Should they vote?
What?
How old do you have to be to vote?
18.
Why can't 16-year-olds vote? They work and pay taxes.
Because they're just working and they don't
That's a straw
understand the
man.
system.
You know it.
How's it a straw man?
Because you know that the voting age is 18. So
It's called logic.
it's a cluster of things. So the fact that it is our human right to be able to vote.
No,
the
it's
fact
not.
That we
According to who?
contribute to
You know, you
according to-
made a
kin-
claim. You made a claim. You have to substantiate that claim. Where is this human right?
Okay, so I didn't
Tell
say
that to the
that,
people of
but
Tajikistan.
I would say that to
Tajikistan.
oh my gosh, the organization, the United Nations has declared that it is a woman's human right to vote.
No, they haven't. When did they say that?
The UN's also cucked.
Yeah. Well, anyways,
A kindergarten shouldn't be able to vote.
Yeah,
A
but the thing is-
kindergartner shouldn't be able to vote, but
You have to take
they're a
it-
part
take
of the
yourself-
education system,
Sure.
just like a 16-year-old works.
Oh wow,
and
you
pays
sound so
taxes,
much
sure.
smarter than I did.
No,
I'm making actual points, so I disagree
Operation
with
Meow.
that.
Is that a weed?
No.
so yeah,
Can I
kindergarten.
interject
Please,
just for a
go for
second?
it.
So I feel like a majority of the women here are more conservative leaning. If you look at how women vote, they lean more left, more liberal. They make bad decisions in voting. I think that if you want to be able to vote, you have to be up for the draft.
I think that's true.
Women should be able to give away
So
that
you,
right.
you think that women shouldn't vote, is what you're saying?
No, I said that women could be drafted. That's what I'm saying.
But do you think that it's desirable to have women fighting in the military?
What
Would
is-
you?
what
Would
is-
you want
serve
to? Would
in
you
other
be?
ways.
Why
what is
not
it?
ask the
Desire
person
other
who was
ways.
in the
You can
military?
cook.
Sure. Let's go
And
there.
What is that? What
there,
do you mean
Paula.
desirable?
So would you rather be next to standing side by sides on the front line with a woman or a man?
I mean, it depends. I don't want some scrawny idiot on.
A man.
Generally speaking,
Yeah.
A man.
yeah.
The answer is a
if you
man.
wanted to go into battle, you'd want to be with a man, right?
Okay, I just rethought it.
And also, women.
I just rethought my point. Men are genetically stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Men can build muscle quicker. Men have better endurance. But that doesn't have to do with voting, in my opinion, whatsoever. We all have brains.
Well, the
Just
thing,
'cause
I'll tell you why it has to do with voting.
Okay.
Because if you are a woman who is able to vote, then voting gets people into power who can send people off to war, who can send countries off to war. Whenever America goes into war, actually, Australia follows them, by the way. But yeah, so if you can send people to war, have the power to nullify somebody's vote, who's older than you and you can have that power, then why should you not have to go to war?
Yeah, but you're making two different
'Cause you're
arguments
born.
here. Like you're saying that if women want to vote, you're saying if this, then that. You're not in any position of power to enforce that. Why are we even having this discussion? What are you going to do? You can't make somebody who wants to vote decide they're going to enlist for the military.
So you're
unless
saying
they
regular
want to.
people shouldn't talk about politics?
No, but what I'm saying is that it's sort of just being provocative because it's like, do you know what would have to happen for the vote to be of question?
Just remove the 19th Amendment.
And it would be absolute anarchy.
No, they wouldn't.
Women would not.
What are you guys gonna
let
do
that
about it?
stand. Listen,
when
women
women are
have
in
guns.
power,
Women have guns.
Society.
So-
Women know how to
regress.
fight.
just-
I'm not saying we
Hold
would.
on a second. You talk for long periods of time. You need to shorten that a little bit.
All right, go ahead.
So you said that it would be anarchy. You said
Yes,
all
it
the women
would.
would get up and get their guns. How do you think that would go?
I'm just
for
saying
them?
it wouldn't go over well.
How do you think that would go for the women trying to overthrow the military?
I don't think that they care. I think that in our country, I don't know about
Why don't you
Australia.
answer the question? How would that go for the women if they decided to be up in arms with all of the anarchy and try and overthrow the government and reinstate the 19th Amendment?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that in order for the 19th Amendment to have to be taken away, retracted,
Yeah, they'd pass a bill.
it would have to be a major upset in our political system for there to be a constitutional amendment.
And then
quite
what's going
a
to happen?
few women who would
and then
support
what
it.
what are they going to do? Are they going to vote them out?
Could I add something?
You're asking, you're
If the
bringing
women
up
are so
an
pissed off
impossible
about
scenario.
losing the vote, what are they going to do? Vote them out?
Okay, listen. Tell me under what circumstances would it be possible for women to lose the vote? I really want you to just lay it out for me. What's the scenario?
Sure, there'd be a Republican
No, that's not what I said. Like, what would happen?
I'm
What would
literally
have to lead
saying
up to
to
it?
you right now. So a Republican president would be elected. He would propose a bill that would go through the Senate and the House that would be to
You gotta
remove
be
the
kidding
19th Amendment. It would go to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court would be based Republicans, and they would say, yes, get
so
rid of that
funny.
19th Amendment, and then the women wouldn't be able to vote anymore, and then the Republicans would get elected
Yes,
more.
and we would all just live together happily, and we would all buy each other a Coke and sing happily hand in hand. No, that's not. Never
What
gonna
else
happen
would
because-
we do
but
at
listen,
that
because-
point?
Wait, hold on.
I'm not
hold on,
going to
you
be
guys.
an anarchist of that, but I mean,
Hold on a second, one at a time. You guys
Anyway.
can all
Yeah.
all throw your opinions at me. Go.
You know what I'm saying is this. I'm not trying to attack you. I'm just
No,
you know,
attack
being
me if you
very-
want. I'm happy
I'm
for you
being
to.
very animated.
It's a
but
conversation.
What I'm saying is that for what you are suggesting, it would have to be all men Senate, all men Congress.
Yep.
Or the strongest
That
ones.
is not. When has that happened?
Why should women be in politics?
Okay, you're not. This is not a
You
good
can be
faith
angry about it,
argument.
or you can make a logical argument. Why should
No,
women
you're
be
not.
in politics?
But your argument isn't good faith because you are not giving me
I
the
can give you- I
setup.
Can I
of how
add and
it would
backtrack
work
for a
in
second?
realistic.
Yeah, add something.
I'm going to add and backtrack for a second. Men, women and men are born differently.
Certainly.
Every human being is born with a brain.
Certainly.
And everyone is able to think. Men are gifted in the sense that they are stronger, they run faster. That's why we have men and women's sports, which I fully agree with. Men, women,
Less
women.
neurotic, less agreeable.
That's what in women, you can't have a kid. Everyone's born with different things. But for the entire population, we all have brains to think. We all have arms and legs, the majority, obviously, to work, to do all that. Therefore, women should be able to. I can't tell if you're playing devil's advocate or you really believe it, but you're from Australia, so I'm happy that you can't vote here for that. I will say I'm happy for that.
That's fair
But men getting drafted, they were born differently. We're born differently, but we all have a
And so-
common thing, which is a brain, and we could think.
I
And like
got
she
the
said,
point. I got the point. I'm ready to answer it.
Great.
Okay. So men being drafted
Sure.
because they're physically superior to women, right? And then you said that we can't have children.
Physically superior is not what I said. You have different stuff. You can't have a kid.
what-
Someone could argue the opposite.
Okay, so would you, like we made the argument before about the men going into the military, you'd rather have a man next to you because he's physically superior. Most men, the vast majority of men, would beat up most women. We can agree to that, right?
100%.
Okay, cool. So,
PR Aquatic donated $200. Lady in the green, where do you think your rights come from?
Being born in America.
Yeah, being born in U.S. soil and having the rights and privileges of an American citizen. That's where I got my rights. Also, my father fought in World War II, and my grandfather fought in World War I. We are Americans. We love this country.
okay, yeah, your father and your grandfather served the country. Good for
Yes,
them.
they
They deserve
did.
to vote.
Yes, and you know what? Even their daughters and their granddaughters also deserve to vote. People, where I come from, the right to vote is very important to us. So I don't play with that
Okay, well, why is it important to you?
because we weren't always able to vote in this country,
Yeah, okay.
and it is very important to us.
Okay, but like doesn't answer why you should. I would love to eat ice
Listen,
cream. Ice cream is important to me.
Because
but
my
do I have a right to
forefathers
that?
fought and died. There were people who were hosed in the streets so that I could have the right to vote. So I'm going to be an educated voter. I'm going to vote. I am going to advocate for my children to vote. I am going to make sure that I pick the best person for the job. I am not a Democrat, nor am I a Republican. I am a registered independent.
Okay.
I choose my politicians like I choose my men. Let the best man win.
Would you choose Kamala?
I live in California, so I don't.
Like you said,
I don't
you said,
get a
"Let-
chance to
choose the best man to win.
Yeah. Well, usually is a man. This is something that
Got
we
him.
can say is a new. But yeah. But
Can I
mean,
ask you why men should be able to vote, just so I can hear an
Well, because-
example of why
Sure.
what you're.
Well, because men bear most of the burden of responsibility in society. Men have to go to war. Men have to go and fight wars. Men build all of the infrastructure around you.
So you think it's all based on who gets drafted? What
Well, that's
about-
one component, but also
The
building.
draft is
Do you
not even
think that
around.
women who go to
It's a very-
war
it's a
should
very- it's a
be an
very key-
exception
Yeah, do you
to
think-
voting?
Yes, probably.
Draft
yeah.
isn't even a
If
thing.
you serve your country, I'd say that
enough.
could probably be an exception.
Okay.
But I'd say it's a key component though, being drafted.
Do you
It's not a
think
small
women
deal.
play a vital role in our society, though?
Yes, but this is where it gets interesting, because I don't look at the right to vote as like a either I'm like human or I'm not human. I don't look at that as in any way your intrinsic value is your right to vote. I think that people have value, but in different ways. I think that it's men's job to be in politics. It's men's job to run society. We're less neurotic. We're less agreeable. We're better leaders. We're more physically capable, and that we are the ones who play these dirty games.
Lol Paladin's friend donated $200. This blonde escort, now sweating, staring out into the void, realizing her past sins are finally catching up with her. Do you honestly think she's still in the running for that high-value man now?
Do you want to respond to that?
Who is he asking?
You're the blonde
I
escort.
thought we agreed we were done.
Do you think she's
Well,
still in the running?
paid
Obviously, nobody
$200
in this
yeah.
panel
Sorry.
thinks I'm in the running for a high value man, but I do have high value men in my life, and I don't agree. So, teach their own.
Cool.
Would you say that your dad's a high value man
Yeah,
and he supports your sex work?
he does.
Okay.
All right. Anyways, where were we? So men build all of the infrastructure around us. Men are
I'm not
better
the one
leaders.
with
I think that
parents who support
men
sex work, but that's okay.
men belong in politics, and I think that actually we do women a massive disservice, because women's role generally in society, if we're looking at what's fruitful, is to reproduce and is to be mothers. That's the primary role of a woman. And I think that the primary role of a man is to protect and provide. And along with that is all of those disgusting things like fighting wars, doing politics, playing the game of chess that is politics. And women, in their best form, I think it's just a fact, is raising children. And if you can channel whatever power that you have as a woman into a family, there's nothing better that you can do.
I
You
agree.
don't need to be in politics.
I will say that there are outliers, because we can look at the Bible and see that there are outliers, but I think there are too many women who want to be an outlier, but they have none of the characteristics of an outlier. So it's kind of like goes into the whole delusional thing. People think that they're more attractive than they are and all of that, and it's like everyone wants to be an outlier now, but that's not, they're outliers for a reason. They're rare.
You say that men usually have those traits, right? That's why in America we have the system of, if you went to prison because you committed a crime, you get your vote stripped away from you, because we've decided that if you commit that, you don't have the brain capacity or whatever the right words would be. But women, like, just as I'm able to spit my opinion right now, and I lean more Republican, right? But I don't think that has to do.
Girl in the lime green, shut the blank up, idiot. Have a conversation like the others are trying to have. If you want equal rights, sign up for the draft.
What was the
Not
last
my
statement you
words,
said?
but
Does someone, the last statement?
you lean Republican.
Oh, I said
but
I lean Republican. I don't think.
Yeah, but you also mentioned about the prison system, and that's a good system in the sense that people who commit bad
Exactly.
crimes, but doesn't that just show you that democracy is malleable? Democracy is not this sort of overarching thing where everybody has this human. You can take away
don't
the
think
vote
you
from
could
people if it benefits society. If you don't want a criminal voting, then you can take away that vote.
That's what I'm saying. But women, like, also, like, they're not really playing like a good society role. Obviously there's circumstances, but
I think that
I'm
if-
saying
if-
women, if I have to pay taxes, I went through the school system. I'm still dealing with inflation. I still have to pay gas. I still have to do all these things. And I want to say in how I live, I want to say for how my children grow up. And you say, like, men are more rational, but you're talking to a group that seems to lean more to the right. So it's a
there's-
matter, maybe.
Look, I think
Does
that
everyone on the panel think that women should have the right to vote? All the girls, all the women?
I do.
Yes.
Wait, Jake, one thing really quick. I don't know if you made this argument because I was gone for a bit. You mentioned like women pay taxes, ergo women should vote. But if you look at women as a collective, they're actually a net negative. Like they take out far more in taxes than they put in. So men are the only ones that actually contribute collectively
Everything
to the...
is taxed. Even
No,
I'm not disagreeing with that, but everything's taxed.
Right,
The
but-
money I make from going to work, the
Sure.
things I buy. If I want to go buy an iPhone, like I'm still getting taxed on the phone. Like I still pay taxes. Like
Right,
even
but
if,
so women take out far more in taxes collectively than they put in, whereas men are the only net positive when it comes to the tax system.
The way you're
That's a
filing,
gener-
the way you're
Can I have
filing
a
taxes
question?
is
no,
what you're
Brian?
saying.
I'm saying that that's a generalization though. I'm not taking money from the
Look,
government.
Again, I
mean,
actually, this is even my position. I'm fine
not-
with...
I'm
Can I
not
try to
saying
find some
that.
middle ground?
I'm
the
fine
ones
with women
who-
voting.
Well,
Yeah.
I just want to know
Yeah.
in what way do women drain the system? Is it through childbirth or
I mean,
taking care
I
of
can-
kids? I mean,
It's, I forget the exact terminology, but tax, net, negative women. I'm going to just Google it.
and please don't get something from the 1990s.
I'm just trying to look into...
and
It's
Jake, I
probably
do
the
have
way
a
that we
question for
file
you, too.
taxes, like
While
head
we're
of
right, go for it.
household
Men, so
versus.
it's men are net taxpayers, whereas so men pay taxes in the aggregate, women do not. Let's see here as to the reasons here. I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory here. So
That's I can understand what you're saying with that. I'm not going to speak on something that I haven't researched and I don't know because I'm not just going to talk out my ass. But at the same time, I feel like I have a good head on my shoulders, especially for my age. And when I drop my children off at school, I don't want them learning certain things that are that I don't agree with, and I want to have the vote on that. If Kamala was president and she's telling Planned Parenthood to give out free birth control without my knowledge, I don't want that to happen. And
Yeah, so I reckon somewhere you could find middle ground is that. Do you want to quickly ask me a question before we do this?
Yeah, I wanted
Yeah.
to ask you, do you personally believe that women should not have the right to vote?
Yes.
You do personally believe that?
Yes.
So,
I agree with you, actually.
So what kind of government would you call that?
Well, you could still call it a representative democracy, but only men vote.
How is that
People get stripped
how-
of their rights to vote all the time.
No, but you're talking about 50% of the population. We're not talking about a few felons here and there. We're talking about the entire swath of, half of.
I'm aware. You don't have
Yeah.
to explain it.
So what?
Looked into it.
So if you have half of the country not being represented, what is that government called?
Well, it's still called a representative democracy, but less people vote.
No. How can it be a representative democracy when
Well, because-
there's literally millions of people who are not being
Well,
represented?
that's happening right now. Children can't vote.
No, I'm asking you, what kind of government is that?
I'm just told you, but you're
Okay,
not accepting my answer.
I think that it's more totalitarian government than it's not a democracy. A democracy.
Democracy, first of all, the United States of America is not a democracy. It's a constitutional republic.
I understand. Yes, I do
So,
understand that.
you guys just have a you have a system where you have a democratic vote, but it's not a pure democracy. And obviously, democracy isn't like utopia. Democracy isn't this idea of heaven. Democracy is just a political system.
Yeah, but we're not
And
talking about
it's
that.
not like a flawless political system, so it needs to be adjusted. So the
You're
idea.
the one to do it.
Well, we can talk about it. We can all have our different ideas, and if you have your ideas, you can say them. And saying to me something like, "Well, you're the one to fix it all," doesn't actually make a good argument for you.
I'm not. I'm just asking.
Yeah.
I'm not. My argument is.
I think that I
you
have good
said-
ideas. You think you have good ideas. So let's talk on the merit of the ideas
Okay.
rather than.
I think.
Yeah.
All right. Let me ask you this: is there any possibility in this conversation that I could be wrong, or you could be wrong, or I could be right, and you could be right?
Yeah, of course.
So we're going to have a real conversation.
That's what I've been trying to do.
Okay. All right. That's good.
Can we go
So-
around and ask everyone?
Yeah.
What they think?
So I think that in terms of finding common ground, I think that one way that would be actually pretty effective is having a vote for the home rather than the individual vote, because when you
That's
look
what I
at
was gonna say.
the value of men and women is obviously very different when it comes to fighting wars and then creating a home. If you had a vote where it was there was one vote per household, but it was the husband who did the vote, then that would make a lot of sense, because if you did want to.
Bealster77 donated $200. For the Americans, who is everyone voting for the next election and why?
I'll just finish that off. If you did want to
We'll come
vote,
back
and if
to
it
it.
was so important to you, then you could get married and be a part of a family, and you and your husband could make that decision.
I'm not saying I agree or disagree with this statement, but do you think that to vote you should be married?
I think that having a vote in the home, in the nuclear family, would be a good idea.
Right, but a
because that's
single
the best
per-
representation
I'm
of
saying
society.
for a single person.
So how does that work for somebody like me, for instance, where I was married before and
Single
now I'm
women,
divorced?
no. Single men, yes.
Okay.
So that's not a family voting. It's basically just men
Well,
voting.
like I said
but
before,
they
men and
pretend to
women-
listen to the women. I mean, but that's just, I feel like that's a lie. Like that, to phrase it as something that you don't actually mean. Like, can we agree on that? That's not
Actually,
what you
I'm
meant.
not 100% sure what your point is, because I've made the
my
argument for
point
like the
about
last
what
half
I
an
think
hour.
you're like saying is that you said that married women, so the man just goes in. It's kind of just
exactly.
like
The man
it's
is the head
kind
of the
like,
household.
here's $1 and then I'm giving $1 million to that person, but saying it's equal.
No, it's
Like
just
it
the,
doesn't
it's
make
just the
sense
idea
to
that
me.
the man is the head of a household, and the man does
So
does
men
the vote.
only should vote those. So you're just rephrasing
Well, it's
it
in
in a way that made it sound like
the-
better to women is what it is.
Well, no, you're a part of a family unit, and the man represents the family, and he casts his vote on behalf of the family.
Correct, but you said
has
single
the final
men
say.
should be able to
Yeah,
vote.
because
and
single men can get drafted, and single men build the infrastructure around you.
I got to move things on a little
Yeah.
bit here, but I think women should vote, but I also think they should be drafted. In fact, for equity's sake, they should actually be the only ones drafted and forced to fight in wars for the next 1,000 years or so. That would be equity to me.